Hey guys, Aaron here from UAVISUALS. We're back with another video. This video is super exciting because we are picking up the only DJI M30 in the country. We're so excited to get our hands on it. We're gonna go inside now, have a proper play, and we're gonna take it home, and tomorrow we're actually gonna go on an actual inspection job with it to test it in the field to see how it actually performs. Because on paper, it's amazing, but let's see what it's really like in the field. We've got our technical director with us. He's gonna rip it apart and provide some really good feedback for you guys. So come along with us, let's do it. Hey!
Welcome to D1 Store, how you doing?
Good to meet you.
How you going? Nice to meet you. I'm Henry.
Yeah, welcome. Show us the thing, man.
Alrighty.
Open it up.
Here we go.
Oh my. The size of this thing, like, can I?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Talk me through this, man. Like, because we've watched all the videos on YouTube, we've seen all the specs, and this thing looks like, I hate saying this word, but it's going to be another game changer drone. But I think it is just because of the size of this, right? And the capabilities and the applications. It got us really excited anyway.
No, absolutely. I think obviously out the box, what DJI have done here is made the controller bigger, as you can see, and the drone smaller. But it's going to deliver the accuracies of an M300 with the usability of an enhanced experience.
Yeah.
So primarily the controller, for example, you're going to see a lot more function buttons, a lot more function dials on the back, and you're even getting more inputs and outputs at the top of the controller too.
Right, so what have we got to touch? We've got USB-C, HDMI.
Then you have USB-A as well, micro SD card too.
So you're still using a micro SD? It's
Yeah.
not full size?
So still micro.
Yeah.
What you're going to notice though is these kind of lids for each of these ports, and that's going to give you that water resistance and waterproofing.
That's a nice controller. It actually feels, it doesn't feel too heavy, and it just feels good.
It's crazy. We were talking about this in the car. Like when the controllers first came out, it was like the big white one, Phantom 1.
Yeah.
An OG back in the day.
Yeah.
And then it got smaller and smaller.
Yeah, the mini was so small. Yeah.
And now we're going back out.
Yeah. Well, that's it. And I'll tell you the best bit about this controller as well is it's not as like Ascendance where you've got the controller wheels and whatnot, but you're getting so many more buttons than the standard Enterprise Smart Controller. The other thing as well, at the push of a button, you can switch from the zoom lens to the wide lens, then to the infrared. Then if you want to go back to FPV, you just touch it, it's there. It's just, you don't have to take your hands off and do the good old fly one-handed and push every button. You know, hang it off the lanyard style. This is just all there to be operated with two hands. Kind of like in a fighter jet, you got the hands on the throttle and the stick. This is just two hands on the controller. Don't need to separate from that workflow.
Whoa.
Big screen.
Just the size of this screen.
The other thing, what I love about that controller as well, is the screen isn't set far into the actual screen.
Yeah.
So much like, you know, on the newer phones out there, the screen is at the screen level. Like the old iPads and whatnot looked recessed, so any bad lighting conditions, whatnot, you could get that shadow effect. This is just straight up into the, you know, front of the screen. It's there, it's good to go.
And you're not blocking the screen at all with your fingers, it's just so visible.
Other thing as well with that, I mean, it's got two batteries under each palm of each hand. You can put the WB-37s in there. Everything runs off a WB-37, so if you got the base station, you got the controller, it's all running off of that.
So, without that battery there, how long would it last? Still 2 hours or more?
Yeah, depending on what you're doing, the workload on it. I mean, I've tested it within an hour and a half. You can get it out to 2 hours if you've got dim screen and you're not doing heavy workloads. But that is also good to have there because it is hot swappable. Other thing as well, you can run it off a power bank whilst you're flying. So if you did want permanent power solution, you can have that in the controller too. So it's IP55 rated, meaning you can actually fly this in, you know, pretty much if it's raining outside, just go right ahead, continue with your mission.
Have you tested it?
We have.
Oh, really?
D1 Store actually did. Up in Sydney last week, we flew the M30 in the rain. Success.
Yeah, right.
And the 300's IP40 something? 40?
Yeah, it's in the 40s, 45. And, you know, the M300, though it can be used, in that kind of weather, it's still not a proven resistance to that weather.
Yeah.
So, you know, this will take you from -20 all the way down to -50. The M300 has that cap of -20.
Yeah, like just one thing I noticed just at the top here, you know, in the M300 we've got the air vents up here and the fan. Looks like it's moved down to here for the rain or whatever, right? And then,
Yeah. Yep.
So the vents are like in the back here. You know, in the Australian conditions, we've got like places where it's 45 degrees Celsius like every day out there. Like how do these go in those conditions?
Yeah, so much like all of DJI drones, you know, a lot of their capabilities with heat resistance is the design of their body. You know, you've got the cooling fins here for the payload, which obviously being thermal, you want it to maintain a constant temperature so it's not getting inaccuracies.
Yeah.
Also, that being said, a lot of its cooling comes from its forward motion. So whilst this drone is actually being propelled forward, aerodynamically it's getting that cooling system like that of, say, air cooling in a car without the radiator. It is going to maintain its coolness through that forward motion through the air.
So open this up, and this is the other thing when we see these like clips.
Locking arms.
Yeah.
So like we say, you can see that they're actually water sealed and rubberized as well. And another good thing about it too, much like the M300, the battery is also jet. So they are locked in there but spring loaded, so you can easily hot swap them.
Yeah, because the 300, the hot swap, if you pull one out, you might accidentally pull the second one out and it turns off when you so.
That's it, whereas this one here, you'll see in just a moment, it actually releases one at a time.
Yep.
That's in the palm of your hands, right? That's so small.
Yeah, so I mean, it does have the four main components for thermal. You've got the 645-12 resolution. You then got a 12 megapixel wide angle camera lens. You got the 48 megapixel half-inch sensor, but that's giving you the 200 times zoom like that in the M300 H20T series. Then you've also got a laser rangefinder, which is accurate out to 1200 meters.
Just on the thermal, it's still radiometric, right?
Yeah, still radiometric. It doesn't specifically say it on DJI's website as to the hertz. The rumor on the street is 30 hertz still. We'll power this up.
Yeah.
Have a camera with a
Go.
microphone. Get ready, because this this sounds like a fighter jet. I kid you not.
Right. Let's go.
Builds up.
That was good. Maybe it's to like push out all the dirt and dust or whatever for the initial startup, but it's like it just peaked and then just stopped. Hey?
Yeah, it does. It does get quite warm. You'll feel it even after a flight. It does get warm. That being said, there's no any overheating warnings or anything like that we've come across as of yet. It is really, you know, just a feature of it. All of its computers up here and just empty housing down here.
Yeah.
So this is really where the main work is happening.
We're just used to the M300.
Oh, yeah.
It's a beast of a joint. It's amazing.
We actually,
but like,
Actually, the
just
pros
the-
on top and the front and the bottom and the back.
we actually raced a gentleman who came in the other day who had a 300, and he went his setup from nothing and this setup from nothing.
Yeah.
And he was there putting the legs on.
Yeah, that's what we want to. We want to test that actually and just see how quick it takes to. It's no legs, and these clips are just.
And the camera is already.
Yeah. By the time he was ready to go, we were up in the air doing circles around it.
I mean, I guess this is built for, you know, first responders and whatnot, so it's got to be quick to set up and go. I think what we want to do is test it for our work that we do, so inspection, telco, stuff like surveying and whatnot.
The FPV's got low light, is that right?
Yeah, it does. And you can do those low light photos. Basically how it works, it's an increased pixel size and a pixel density as well. How that means is, you know, it's going to gather more light information when viewing that in darkness, which can then transpose from the camera sensor into the brain of the drone and give you a sharper image in low light.
Yeah.
Using those algorithms DJI have as well, it really does just bring out all that detail when there's next to no light.
That's really good. We really want to test that because we've got like photography backgrounds, and generally speaking, a camera sensor that has a higher megapixel count usually doesn't perform that well in low light.
Exactly.
So I really want to see what this has to offer in low light. But
like a 4 megapixel low light resolution image sensor is going to give you so much better low-end performance.
RTK obviously.
Yeah, RTK enabled network and with the base station.
Yep, so it pairs up with the RTK, the DRTK.
Yeah, yep.
That's one thing that I couldn't see on their website. I looked everywhere. It didn't mention RTK.
Yeah, so fully N-trip enabled RTK. You can get it over the network. You just got to use your service provider. DRTK base station as well with DJI.
Yeah.
Fully complete compatibility.
Yeah, cool. Payloads. We've seen some videos floating around on YouTube with beacons, with lights, with speakers. Are they off? Like, can you purchase any of those? Just see how they released any of those?
There's none released right now, and there's
In the
always
works.
third party in the works. But you do have up here the Type C enabled SDK port, like the M300 if you're connecting to any of the third party speakers, spotlights, whatnot.
Oh yeah.
Similar
It's
kind.
the same sort of
Same
size
size.
as the M300, isn't it?
Looks like.
Very similar to that upward gimbal connector.
Yeah.
The transmission on the controller, I know the Mavic 3's got a 60 frames per second. Is
1080,
that
60?
Yeah, is that the same here?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
That did trip me out.
The smoothness of it, yeah.
And the battery's a 130 watt hour.
Yeah, so you can actually take these on an aircraft. You've really just got to apply for that permit. You know, let's say Qantas, for example, anything over 100 watt hours, you got to apply for a permit. Anything up to 160 or above, though, you're done. You can't take it.
That was our biggest issue with the M300. We got work like all around the country and now overseas, but you just can't. You just can't travel, and it was just such a nightmare to coordinate or to call in favours of other guys. So, can we borrow batteries? Can we rent this? Where are we going to rent this? And we ended up just carrying and then we're just carrying the drone and the empty, battery case every time. It's just such a, and just the size of this. This is like smaller than my carry-on.
That's it. You got the space for 4 batteries plus 2 in the drone.
And then the WB.
Yeah, a great thing as well, it'll support the charging hub, any additional propellers.
You got the charging box.
Oh yeah. If we want to keep talking about size, this is going.
It does matter.
It does matter, especially when search and rescue. If you've got stuff on your back, you want the smallest equipment that can do the most amount of work. And I'm not going to lie, the charging dock for this is quite small.
What?
It is very compact.
No way.
And what you'll be able to achieve with it, 8 batteries, 2 WBs.
I
USB
shall
out
call
for charging.
him Mini-Me. This is literally like this case is like the same size as like a Mavic mini case. Mavic 2 or something.
You'll actually notice with this,
You just can't close,
now, downfall I wouldn't say, because you're never really meant to store your batteries on an active terminal. So, BS60 battery stations were able to close for the M300, and a lot of people would just go out there, leave them in there, transport it. They'd come back, hey, I've got bent pins in my charging dock, what's going on? You go, do you travel with it? Yes. So, what I would recommend, much like they have in the case here, is transport them without terminals touching. Obviously, if you're going on domestic, whatnot flights, that's how you have to do it as well. But never to actually store, because that is not sound enough to bend those pins. So a good kind of difference, you could go a battery case option, like GPC would be right now designing cases to go for it. There's no actual official release of any cases at the minute that have that kind of battery storage capability, apart from what we see here. However, most likely, like everything, give it a month or 2 and there'll be cases coming from every angle.
So there's 3 settings.
Yeah.
Normal charge.
Normal fast. Now,
And storage.
I'll have to have a look into that one. I mean, I've only just got eyes on this about half an hour before you came.
So I believe the storage one is, it drops the voltage down to 50% for long-term storage. But this super fast charging is brilliant. This is like the TB50 charging case. You could charge quickly from 20% to 90 just to quickly get it in the air.
Exact same with this one. 20 to 90 in half an hour.
That's wicked. What's this?
Yeah, USB-A, USB-C.
Yep.
So C to C can go to the controller. It's as simple as grabbing out your nearest USB C to C cable.
Yeah.
Here's one I prepared earlier. Put it in there. Then you put this into here at the top. So on the BS60 station, you did your firmware upgrades, you did your activation obviously at the initial point. And then from there, obviously we turn it on. if there was a cable plugged in, it would start charging.
Does that also go the other way with the or the TB60 case? You can actually look at the health management system of the batteries while they're charging.
Yeah, so correct, yeah, you can actually view the health management data from this when putting it into the controller. Yeah, and that will also cover you for any of those firmware upgrades. If you have to activate it when you purchase it, obviously, same thing. You would go from this output charging port into this, which is the setting health port. Yeah. And you can display that data there. Other great features of this drone, if you've heard of it, called Flight Hub 2, which is kind of at the desk platform where you can monitor what the drone's doing. You can actually take live panoramas from any kind of control point you want it to be at and have that brought up live on the screen. It's about 17 and a half roughly. Yeah. 2 batteries, the charging station and the drone. So how you'd buy it, if you wanted the full kit out, you'd go 6, and then the station and the drone like comes within the drone pricing. Yeah. So you go drone, 6 batteries, then you go maybe 2 WB-37s, depending on if you need it. If you get the base station, maybe 3. And then obviously runs off a micro SD, so one of those. Landing pad, maybe 110 centimeter.
So the SD card's like on the side here.
Yeah, it is.
So it's not on the camera, it's on the side there.
Yeah.
Which actually makes it a lot easier to access. It's a pain getting it from the H20T.
Yeah. Yeah, from this thing.
It's not like trim your fingernails and
no, grow your fingernails.
Exactly,
like...
You can bite your fingernails, not worry about it. Yeah, that's actually pretty good. Hopefully it doesn't check like the Phantom 4. Wow, look at that, how easy that is.
Yeah. No. So if you're a nail biter, this drone's for you.
So max takeoff weight, is it under 7 kilos?
It's a good question.
Scales.
Are we recording?
We just go.
I'm just thinking sub 25, so some pilots don't have sub 25. Can they fly this?
I think it's 6.7 off the top of my head.
Feels lighter than...
Yeah.
I mean, can you check if we can play games on? Well, there's a browser there. I saw Firefox on there, so maybe we can play like a browser version of Sonic the Hedgehog. No,
just the size, just be able to get out of the car quickly, not having to put the camera on, not having to put legs on it. The only limitation I see is we do take off from a bit of high grass or some areas where we need to be careful because it's gonna, you're gonna get grass near the camera. So I think
just need to work
from that point, being out in the field,
roof launch, hand launch.
Oh, hand launch.
Can we hand launch it?
Yeah, maybe. That's a bit
cool. Like it's not really.
I'm sure they are going to have aftermarket sort of legs that they can attach.
Send it from here. The send it button and just catch it.
Yeah,
but like we launch from the roof or put a mat out or something. But yeah, you're right.
Let's check out this hotspot. So if I just
hold up. Alright, ready?
Come around this side. So obviously on M300, you take out one battery, you can risk pulling out the other one sometimes and it disconnects. I've had that happen to me several times.
Yeah.
So with this, it's just one at a time, that's locked in. It's not going to change.
And it even shows here.
Put the next one in.
Battery slot 2 not detected. Insert or replace battery.
That's it, it's locked in.
And it should come back online. Initializing.
And to let the arms or legs, you don't have to worry about turning and locking them in place and making sure they're tight. It's just push that.
Anything is possible.
Yeah, after seeing this, anything is possible.
Look at the size difference. Like it's
crazy. That's
1 for 1.
Like pack up, ready to go. Ready to go to the next. We do a lot of telco work, and it's all like from one tower to the next tower, and we've got to find another tower that's like 40-50 kilometers away using the zoom lens. But just the pack down time, and usually like we're rushing at the end of the day because there's so many like sites, and from one site to the other it might take an hour to get to the next one. But so we usually have a setup where we have the drone mounted up here and then strap it down, so the setup time is a lot quicker. But something like this, it's like straight out, legs out, turn it on.
Yeah,
it's wicked. All right guys, thanks for watching another video. We are super excited because we're taking this tomorrow on an actual job and we're gonna be comparing this with an M300. So don't miss out on that video. Hit subscribe for more and we'll see you in the next one.